The lights are off and away they go.
Extremely loose. He's managed to hold on.
He missed the complete. That is crazy stuff.
Side Freitas is on the grass on the infield floor. He slides through. He tags Richard.
Hello folks, and welcome to round 6 of the American Sim Racing Camping World Truck Series. Tonight, Samuel, we are at the Milwaukee Mile in Wisconsin, USA for the Toyota Tundra 100. I'm Richard Losper, and with me in the booth is Samuel Ryman, as I just mentioned. Bringing all the live action to you is our director tonight, Kevin Brown. Camera sets are provided by Doug Beard. Samuel, another 1 mile track following on from Dover last week.
Yes, it is, but that's about all the similarities it has between the Munster Mile, where we were at Dover last week. Dover heavily banked, a very narrow track, whereas this Milwaukee Mile, yes, it's a mile long, but a very flat track, only 9 degrees of banking. And Richard, we've been watching in practice, it's a very wide circuit. There's lots of different racing lines you can take, but at the end of the day, the bottom line seems the fastest way around, and I have a feeling everyone's going to be fighting for it when the race begins. Race will be 100 laps long, or 1 hour and 15 minutes, whatever comes first. Hopefully it'll go green the whole way. We'll get to the 100 lap mark, and pit road speed here is 45 miles an hour.
Yeah, and just looking at the practice time so far, I see that Ty Hester, who we have not seen a lot of in the series, certainly the races we have broadcast, he's sitting at the top of the table. But of course, they are doing their qualifying now. Let's talk a little bit about the championship, Samuel. So leading at the moment is Jordan Harnish. Now, Jordan has not actually won a race, but he has had some really good results, and that has put him at the top of the table. We have the two Whitson cousins in 2nd and 4th place, respectively. And of course, Alex Bates, another driver that we've not really called many times in the races that we have covered. He is in 3rd place. So I am really going to be looking out for drivers like Alex Bates. Nick Cohen in 5th place in the championship at the moment. Another guy who's done some, who's had some really good results. So still looking pretty wide open there, Samuel.
Yeah, it is, and we have about 43 points separating them all right now, but that will be erased when it comes to the trace in about 10 more rounds' time. Meanwhile, I'm looking at the practice times, and one driver that we haven't mentioned, Richard, has been the winner at the last 2 rounds at Charlotte Motor Speedway and Dover International Speedway, and that is Derek Cash, who is currently put on a qualifying lap that's faster than what anyone ran in practice at a 31.011. He could be looking for his 3rd win in a row here, and if he does that, he may very well move up into that top 10 in points. I know I'm sounding like an old record because I said the same thing last week, but eventually if he keeps racking off his wins, it will become true.
Oh, absolutely. There's no question. Derek Cash certainly has shown that he is very fast at any track. He won the Dover race and the race prior to that, so he's got some really good results. He did not race before those 2 races, and he's only 18th in the championship at this point in time, but certainly with a good fast time here, the fastest so far. It's not going to be long before we do see him in the top 10, I feel. He is going to have some pretty stiff competition, though, with some of the other faster guys. I'm not quite sure why people are not racing all the races. Obviously, it's a long series. There are chase races which start from round 16 onwards. So, and that'll go on for 8 races. And these guys are following the true to life or the real life schedule that is presented by the truck series, the Real Camping World Truck Series. But some very, very fast guys in here, and some of the fastest guys from previous races matching up with each other. So it looks like it's going to be an interesting race anyway.
Yeah, it does. We have about five cars, five trucks kind of a bit separated from the rest of the field in the 31 zeros and the 31 ones right now. One thing that we need to add to that tracing, Richard, you were talking about race attendance. For every race that you don't attend, if you make it into a trace, each race that you don't attend is going to cost you 20 points once all the points are tallied up. But Richard, as Derek Cash just takes another 2/10 off his qualifying time, goes to a 30.8, the only driver to have broke into the 30s all session long. I'm watching Ty Hester, who was the fastest in practice, excellent pit road right now, getting ready for another round. He's only made a 31.1 right now. He's currently lined up third on the grid. I have a feeling he's going to want to get on that front row, which is right now taken by most recent winner Derek Cash and points leader Jordan Harnish.
Yes, certainly only one driver showing in the 30s at the moment, 30.894, so 30.9, give or take a few hundreds. Very, very fast, Derek Cash, and it remains to be seen whether he can possibly string 3 wins in a row. That would be fantastic. However, Ty Hester, I'm looking forward to watching this gentleman go round. He's fast at 31.102 at the moment. Not that far off. Nick Cohen's up there. Jordan Harnish, we've mentioned already, as we see the 68 truck go round. He's obviously trying for a bit too much. They're trying to get his times up. Did not work for him that time. No doubt he'll be back for another opportunity to try and improve his time.
Yeah, hopefully, but he's running out of time. Only about 2.5 minutes in qualifying with Derek Cash, Jordan Harnish, Ty Hester, Nick Cohen and Alan Young, the top 5, but that's bound to change most likely. Meanwhile, a little further on down the board, Richard, is Aaron Kleinhans in 16th position. And I know he's not up there in the timing sheets, but this race wouldn't be able to happen without him.
Well, that's right. You know, there are a few guys that are showing up in the top 10 by virtue of the fact that they have just run reasonable races prior to this one. Steve Buhala, who we remember from, I think it was last week, involved in some spectacular accidents. David Gibson, he is a front runner as well. Tim Johnston in there. Mark Myers showing up in the top 10, one of the league organizers, and of course the Whitson cousins that we've mentioned before. So very interesting names in the top 10, and they're all in here. Aaron Easler, Samuel, is a name that we will want to watch tonight. He's not usually a front runner, but tonight not really showing up in the top 10.
Yeah, no, he was down a bit on time in practice, and as you say, he's currently 11th, but he has been up front during the races before, so he knows what it's like to run up front, and if he's able to have a good consistent pace, maybe a good strategy in the race, 11th place is certainly no far cry of getting the top 10, perhaps even the top 5 finish today.
Well, you know, it's a bit remiss of me. I should have mentioned previously that Aaron Kleinhans, whom you just spoke about, he is a sponsor of the series. He did sponsor the race last week. You can see on screen at the moment, folks, a URL that you can go to have a look and see a little bit more about Aaron Kleinhans. He is sponsoring this race as well. A little bit of a weird Google URL there, but it's certainly up on the screen. Make a note of it and go and have a look.
Yeah, meanwhile, Richard, I want to give a shout out to the drivers who are currently 9th and 10th in qualifying. Their names that I don't think we've broadcast at all during this series. Jonathan Cadell and Keith Medeiros. But they're up there in the top 10 in qualifying, so they certainly have a pace. And as trucks finish off their hot laps right now, it's going to be interesting to see where they finish.
Exactly right, Samuel. And bear in mind that Jonathan Cadell was a winner, I believe, of the first race of the series at Daytona. So he has already shown he's got class, he's got speed. I'm watching him on track at the moment. He comes to a stop. He's in 10th place here. It may just be that he doesn't like the shorter tracks, but certainly he has won a race before.
Yes, meanwhile, qualifying is over. I'm looking at the trucks that did not put on the lap. Jason Kristen and Jamie Moore. Jason Kristen, I believe, is in the session, so he may have not put on the lap just to start from the back of a grid and stay out of trouble. But I don't know, Richard. The great thing about circuits where the inner line is a desired line is when you go to make your move on a circuit like this, it's easy to let the driver in front of you know what your intentions are when you dive down the inside into a corner. So I have a feeling it could be a clean race. There are going to be pit stops. These trucks have a limited fuel window. It's also going to be a very close race, so with a fixed setup in these trucks. Some of them have been looking a little bit loose out there, but I'll tell you what, Richard, really what's going to win this race is driver talent, because you do have to be on the brakes in the turn. You are probably going to have to hold it a little bit sideways through the turn, given the fact that some of these trucks have looked to be a little bit loose up there, and also you are going to have to deal with other trucks trying to dive bomb you and make moves down the inside into the corners as a pace car rolls off the starting line right now.
All right, well, we best run through the qualifying session and just give you really quickly the drivers. So top 10, Derek Cash, and next to him Jordan Harnish on the first row, Ty Hester and Nick Cohen on the second row, Gary Whitson, Alan Young in the third row, Tim Johnson, Dave Biro the third in the fourth row, John Martin and Jonathan Cadell, bringing up the fifth row.
Yes, and on the sixth row is Keith Medeiros. Aaron Isla is going to have to start 12th on that undesired high line. Bryce Whitson, the one of the runners of the league, I believe, starts 13th, and Dan Winter alongside him in 14th. Jim Foose, also a league organizer, 15th. Mark Myers, 16th. But I have a feeling I might have to cut off here, Richard, because it looks like we only got one pace lap. The trucks are handing back of a pace car who comes down pit road. Derek Cash in control of the field. He's on the gas early. The pace car is off, and away they go. Derek Cash already 2 or 3 car lengths over Jordan Harnish in the purple truck, who tries to get down onto that inside line before Ty Hester takes second from him. Again, very close in the first turn there.
Yes, and out on the high line, Nick Cohen in 4th place at the moment. Things are starting to settle down. A nice clean start by the looks of it. Didn't see anything happening towards the rear of the field, and I have had a good look. Alan Young sitting in 5th place. Seems like they're going from high to low, as you mentioned. Nobody brave enough to attempt a pass just at this moment. But very, very early days. We have 100 laps to go. They're on lap number 2 at the moment. Things settling down quite nicely here, Samuel.
Yeah, Ty Hester drifted out to the outside wall a bit there, exiting turn 2. I was wondering if that was just his line or if he'd made a mistake and Nick Cohan was going to look under him for a third. That wasn't the case. 26 trucks started this race. Jamie Moore and Drake Morris are DNS. They are not starting, but yeah, very clean opening 2 laps here, Richard. Meanwhile, we see more of what we've seen at the last 2 races with Derek Cash running away with the lead.
That is correct. However, he does have Jordan Harnish sitting back a little bit off him at the moment, about a second difference perhaps, or maybe slightly less than that. Currently, he is in 2nd place, as I mentioned. Derek Cash doing it easily at the moment, having a nice handy lead. Jordan Harnish trying to keep up with him, and behind him Ty Hester, who I'm really interested to see what he has underneath that bonnet of his truck. So we'll see what goes on as the race develops.
Bonnet, hood, whatever you want to call it, it's got a lot of power under it, and I'll tell you something, Richard, that the power is going to have to be something that's going to concern these drivers eventually, because I notice a few of them already getting out of shape as they come off exits. We've actually got about the 7th back here. Tim Johnson taking Gary Whitson, who made a mistake on the low line, now being challenged for 8th position by John Martin, who is on the undesirable outside line. Look behind him. Look at Keith Medeiros just drifting up to outside wall. I have a feeling we're going to be seeing more and more of that as the race goes on, Richard. As the tyres wear off, as the fuel burns off, you're going to see these trucks getting tight on exit, and eventually one of them's going to slide into the outside wall.
Yes, I think you're right. There's no question that the tyres will play a very large part. Also, bearing in mind, these guys have 50% fuel, so something like 9.5 gallons of fuel to play with. That will not see them through the race, so there will be pit stops. The only question is whether it will be under the green flag or whether we will see a caution. I don't even want to mention that word, Samuel, the word caution, nasty word that, in case it affects the drivers. But right now I'm driving with Keith Medeiros in the 711 car, and I want to tell you, they're all bunched up pretty much in sort of the second group, from about 11th place down to 6th place. Out front we still have Derek Cash leading, and a little bit of space between him and the second and third place, but the bunch here after that is pretty well one on top of the other.
Yeah, the battle from ninth, where John Martin actually looks to be holding Aaron Isla up a little bit, but Aaron Isla, and there's a truck coming down pit road. No, it's not. It's Evan Kleinhans, the sponsor of the race, just got very loose off turn 4. But I want to mention that, Richard. If it does go green to the end, we will have to talk about pit road here, because it is in the middle of the front stretch, and drivers are going to be gaining or losing a lot of time depending on how much they attack the entry of the pit road.
Correct. And we'll have to wait and see how that pans out. At the moment, I'm driving with Tim Johnston, and he is trying to make a move on the truck in front of him of Dave J. Biro. He goes to the inside. Biro is a slightly wide. It looks like Johnston may get away with this one.
Oh, and look behind him, John Martin got very loose, yeah, but Dave Biro the third is actually a name we haven't mentioned. And I've got to begin wondering, Richard, as you say, tyre wear, the fastest laps of the race have been 31.1s run by Derek Cash. Even now he's fallen to a 31.4 just 10 laps in. He's lost 0.3 of a second. So tyre wear could certainly play an issue here, and you may see comers and goers. You may see some drivers who are up in the top 5, top 10 right now, who are beginning to fall back a little bit, like I believe David Biro is, maybe who have used up their tyres a little bit too early and have burnt them off for the long run.
Well, that's right, and no, it is 100 laps, and the long run counts, and particularly if the guys are going green as they seem to be. Very, very clean race, Samuel. I must say I'm even a little surprised at that. But then the track is wide, there's plenty of space. It's the turns are not that seriously narrow, so people do have an opportunity to make their moves with a lot of space around them. And these drivers have done a great job so far. 11 laps in, still
and
very,
as you say,
very
there,
clean.
We've got a spinner in turn 2 and caution is out. David Gibson spins, no contact, but does bring out the first yellow of the day.
Well, that, you know, the moment you mention the word caution, things happen, and Dave Gibson's got going again. So looks like we're under caution right now. Let's see where the pace car is, and hopefully we will see them get back to green flag racing very, very soon.
Now I expect, Richard, 12 laps in, yeah, and we'll see if pit road's open this time. I have a feeling we'll get a lot of takers in pit road, as here comes Derek Cash leading them down. What I'm curious is anyone in midfield going to attempt 2 tyres? If you're going to play strategy, now's a good time to do it, because if it turns out to be a bad strategy call, you've still got 70 laps left to compensate for it. One car actually staying out on track there, that's Aaron Kleinhans. Will anyone take 2 tyres, and if so, how will that affect the handling of their trucks? Look at that, Jonathan Cadell out first. I wonder if he just took 2 tyres. Ty Hester following him, he must have taken 2, and then Derek Cash is going to come out 4th on pit road. Oh no, 3rd, he just beat Jordan Harnish to the line.
No, most of them took 4 tyres from what I saw. Driving at the moment with Alan Young in 5th place, or was in 5th place just prior to the pit stop. Most of them took 4 tires, Samuel, so that already tells us what sort of attrition we have with tire wear here. And not surprising that they do take 4 tires. So if after 13 laps everyone's taking 4 tires, that doesn't augur well if the race goes green for long periods of time, for, dare I say it, long green flag run, Samuel.
Yeah, Ty Hess definitely took 2 tires, Richard. Meanwhile, Jonathan Cadell, who I said I thought took 2 tires, he actually missed his pit stalls. That's why he just came in the pits now. And we saw Aaron Kleinhans not make a stop at all. He's came in to fix that. He's taking 4 tires right now. Probably just wants to restart at the back of the field where he's not going to get in trouble. Meanwhile, Mark Myers, who was running in the middle of the pack, I see him drop into the back of the pack right now, Richard. I have a feeling he may have been speeding on pit road.
Yeah, he's probably got a black flag. Another driver that I have just been looking at, one of the fast guys, Jonathan Cadell.
The pace lights are off.
Pace lights are off. All right, take it away.
Yeah, we'll get to Jonathan Cadell in just a minute. He is going to be restarting in 25th position, so not quite sure what happened there, but we'll get to Richard in a minute. Ty Hester has control of the field. He pulls away from Jordan Harnish, who did beat Derek Cash to the line, but Derek Cash now has the inside line. Should be able to pull away from Jordan Harnish, although Jordan's driving the wheels off that thing, trying to clear him. Overstreaks the exit. Derek Cash is going to probably get second position here. But really what I want to pay attention to, Richard, is Ty Hester. He's on 2 tires. Will he be able to pull away, or will he start falling back?
We have a car in the grass at the moment. Let's see what happens
Dan
there.
Winter spins.
We have the replay coming up right there, and we see a car sitting on the grass. It's facing the wrong way, comes back around, and now goes back. We need to find out who that is. I did not see what happened there.
Yeah, Gary Whitson got turned sideways and went through the grass, but was able to save it. Everyone trekked up behind them, and Dan Winter got turned 360, and that's what brought the caution out. Anyhow, Richard, you were going to tell us something about one of the drivers, Jonathan Cadell, before the restart.
Correct, but in the passing of time since that moment when I was going to talk about Cadell, oh yes, I do recall now. Jonathan Cadell spent a long time in the pits, so he must have had some damage, I feel, because his tires had already been put on. Fuel had been topped up, no doubt, if he went for some fuel, and he was still sitting there. So I think he had a little bit of damage repair, and that's put him all the way down in 22nd place as he comes back into the pits with another group of cars as well, taking some more. I think he's got some damage there.
Yeah, we're also getting word that Bryce Whitson has a damage. I can see his right rear spoiler's a little bent, Richard, but he's up there in the top 5, so we'll see how much that damage hinders him as the race goes on. Meanwhile, Ty Hester obviously has been able to hold on to the lead, having just 2 green flag laps, but yeah, I'm really curious to see what's more important here, fresh air and track position or 4 tires.
Yeah, it's the age-old conundrum. You know, do you take fresh tires? I don't know. On a track like this, the tires don't last that long. Ty Hester, who I am driving with right now, sitting behind the pace car, he's got an interesting little phrase on the back of his truck. Freaky fast, it says, Samuel. So obviously that says something about his talent.
Yeah, that's the Jimmy John slogan. The subs a place based in America over here, that's their slogan, freaky fast. Meanwhile, the lights were off on the pace car and they just came back on, and the reason why is because Cody Gibson spun under caution. Don't know what that's all about.
Oh dear.
Yeah, I have a feeling his car just broke loose in turn 1, and actually he got hit by one of the other cars, Aaron Kleinhans. So a very weird accident there by Cody Gibson.
Yeah, and we're seeing it on the replay right now. I can tell you that Cody Gibson's car is heavily damaged on the right rear, and he is going to have to Oh, that's nasty. He slammed into the wall pretty hard there with the rear of his truck. So he's going to need some damage repair without a doubt. If he stays out, which I'm surprised that he's still out there because that car has got a lot of damage.
Well, cautions breed cautions, Richard, and I'm assuming what he's hoping for is a quick caution here, because we saw them go about 15 laps without one, and then we had two within 5 laps, so he's probably just hoping for another quick caution as the pace lights are off, pace car going down the backstretch, and maybe we'll be able to bring it in pit road for repairs next caution.
Correct, and I am going to drive with Bryce Whitson on the start of this race. He has got a damaged truck. He is sitting in 6th place on the 3rd row on the inside. Let us see what does happen on this restart. Over to you, Samuel.
Yeah, and we saw Jordan Harnish, a points leader, try the challenge on the outside on the last restart. Didn't work for him. Derek Cash now going to be restarting 2nd. Will it work for him? Ty Hester has control of the field. He's on the gas already. Now what Derek Cash has got to try and do is find a gap in between Ty and Jordan. There's one right there. Get down on the low line, and now Jordan is forced to stay behind him. So the top 3 are single file for now. Meanwhile, back through the field in turns 1 and 2, looks like they're all restarting cleanly, Richard. And here goes Derek.
Yes, sorry, I missed that. Go ahead.
Derek Cash goes into the lead in turn 3.
Yeah, I was about to say that myself. Derek Cash got very, very quickly down on the low line. He attacked Ty Hester pretty quick, who you remember only took 2 tires. So he didn't come in on that last caution either. They all stayed out, which is sensible. I mean, there'd just been a caution just before then. So the top 3 now, Derek Cash has taken the lead back from Ty Hester. Ty Hester's actually fallen to 3rd place now with Jordan Harnish also passing him. Nick Cohen just behind them as well. So they're settling in again. Let's hope we have a long green flag run this time.
Aaron Cleanhands in the pits with a lot of damage while the trucks log laps around him. O'Battle's in the top 10 right now. They're all staying single file. In fact, throughout about the whole field until you get back in the 20s, that's when they begin riding side by side. Derek Cash, once again, Richard, beginning to check out on Jordan Harnish.
Yeah, Derek Cash, really this guy has shown that he is the master of perhaps the shorter tracks. But I want to drive with Bryce Whitson for the moment. This is a very badly damaged car on the right-hand side, on the rear of this truck. But he seems to be able to keep it on the track. He does lose track position now to a couple of the drivers, so obviously that damage is causing him to slow down into the turns particularly, Samuel.
Yeah, but there's lots of different lines you can take around here, and Whitson was able to find a bit of grip up on that high line somewhere and was able to hold on to 6th position in front of Alan Young. So they're all still, it's still no change for position up there.
Correct, and just getting some information from the director here, but I shall for the moment ignore that. Nice and clean at the moment. Lap number 24. Ty Hester making a move there on Jordan Harnish. Didn't work that time, Samuel, but Ty Hester showing that he wants that 2nd position back.
Yeah, and that's beginning to show that we could be wrong. That the right side tyres may actually be a good decision. And the reason I think we might be seeing this, Richard, is because in the long run, trucks tend to get tighter. Well, if you put right side tyres on the truck, it actually gets looser. So maybe Ty Hester lost a lot of spots on the restart because his truck was too loose. And now that his truck is tightening up with the fuel and tyres burning off, he's actually finding a neutral balance while the trucks in front of him are fighting tightness. And we got John Martin spinning on the front stretch.
Yes, sir. John Martin spinning his truck on the front stretch. The Guinness truck now coming back into line, but he will have lost a lot of time there. He's falling right down to the bottom of the field, obviously. Not a good move from his part. Oh, we're watching on replay as he slams into the wall. Actually, he didn't touch the wall that hard, so if he's got his truck turned around again. Not too much damage for him, luckily there, Samuel.
And the big winner here is going to be the truck that's right in front of him pacing right now is Aaron Kleinhans, 26th in last place. All 26 trucks that started this race still in the race. Aaron is the only one not on the lead lap. He is 1 lap down because of a green flag pit stop he made for damage. He'll be able to get a wave around this caution and get back on the lead lap.
Yeah, which that is quite surprising that all of these trucks are still on that lead lap. We did have some pretty nasty accidents and a lot of damage to some of the trucks, and so I am surprised by that, but it's all good for the actual race as we are now a quarter of the distance into the race. We've had, 3 cautions up to now, so not the cleanest race, but I think we kind of expected that anyway, Samuel. These guys will no doubt now file back into the pits. Whoa, we've got a host of them coming into the pits right now. Aaron Kleinhans once again elects to stay out though.
Yeah, well, what happened here, Richard, is the trucks from Ty Heston backwards realised that they didn't have anything in themselves to be able to beat the likes of Derek Cash. So they came into the pits, and now they're all playing a different strategy than what the top 4 trucks of Derek Cash, Jordan Harnish, Nick Cohen, and Gary Whitson are. They're all going to have fresher tyres, they're going to be able to go longer on fuel. There are ways in which, if the cautions fall in their favour, these guys may be able to leapfrog up to the front. And meanwhile, Aaron Isla has taken 2 tyres in his first off pit road, so after starting outside the top 10, he has now made his way up into 5th position.
Yeah, good move from him. No, Samuel, I want to make a comment on oval racing in general. Some people say that oval racing is boring. It's go straight, turn left, go straight, turn left. I have to disagree totally with that. It is fascinating, the strategies that come into play in oval racing. Yeah, you do go around and make left turns, as they say. But in order to win a race, you really have to think about what you are doing, when to take tires, when to take fuel, what to do when the cautions comes out. To me, that's absolutely fascinating.
Yeah, and I always point out to people who say that NASCARs go fast, turn left, that they are completely wrong because the trucks have to turn right to get out of their pit box.
Quite correct. All right, so we're driving behind the pace car. Derek Cash still leading this race. Well, he didn't start by leading, but he was very, very quickly into the lead. He's got his, shall we say, normal position. Certainly in the last 2 races, that's been the case. Jordan Harnish shadowing him. Nick Cohen in 3rd place. We've seen that Nick Cohen around or about the front of the field. And Gary Whitson now in 4th place on the outside of the 2nd row. Aaron Isla, who did not have a good start to the race, his strategy, this is what brought us to the conversation about strategy. His strategy has currently brought him on lap 30 to the top 5. So this is what it's all about, working at what is the best time to do what. And Aaron Isla is a prime example of that, Samuel.
Yeah, he is, but we've yet to see how the 2-tire strategy works out. It worked for Ty Hessler, but it may not work for Aaron Isla. Maybe his truck handles a bit different on 2 tires. But yeah, one thing he's definitely going to have going for him is that he gets to restart on the inside. So does Derek Cash, although Jordan Harnish, I'm sure, will give him a run for his money going into the first turn, although last time he attempted that, he overshot it. Derek Cash gets a great restart. Jordan Harnish cannot change lanes until they cross the finish line, and that means that Nick Cohen is able to get under him, and Nick may take 2nd place coming out of turn 2 here, Richard.
Yes, that's exactly what happened, Samuel, and Jordan Harnish had to stay on that high line, as you said. Cohen has taken the position. Now Jordan Harnish is on the preferred line. Down low, Derek Cash leading and starting once again to put some distance between them as we see the tires, the trucks on cold tires, just having a bit of a bubble there. In 4th place, Gary Whitson was thinking about making a move, did not work out. The freaky fast truck of Ty Hester, in fact, and
caution.
Do we have another caution?
Yeah, and I was about to say, Aaron Isla has fallen all the way back to 9th, but yeah, Jonathan Cadell, who has had a bit of a difficult race, David Gibson and Matt Howell are all in a jam over in turn 2.
Oh dear, and we are having a look again at the replay on that. Jonathan Cadell been in the wars, so obviously not a good start for his return to the truck racing. We just watched on replay there. Oh, pretty nasty. A few trucks involved there, and that brought out the caution. A couple down on the apron as well. So another caution. Is that number 4 or 5, Samuel?
I lost count honestly, but I will say that all the trucks are still on the lead lap. But really, the truck that got the most damage is the M&M's number 99 truck of Matt Howell, who kind of slid into the wreck after they pretty much finished wrecking. The front of that M&M Chevrolet is bent in.
Yeah, not a good sight at all. So let us now take stock of where we are. It gives us an opportunity to have a look at some of the other drivers that we made.
This is very bad, Richard, for Jordan Harnish and Nick Cohan. They did not pit with the rest of the field under the last caution, and now they come in after this caution, and they're going to drop all the way down to the back.
Yeah, that's correct. So we shall see how that, again, a bunch of trucks coming in. Obviously, these guys are ones that perhaps did not pit previously. Everyone's taking tires at every opportunity, Samuel, so that in itself tells us that tire wear is very significant here.
Yeah, well, one truck who hasn't is Derek Cash, although he showed us at Dover that tyre wear didn't really matter to him. I want to watch Aaron Isla. What caused him on the last restart to fall back that far? He restarted 5th, and he was down to 9th within a lap. It looks like, I'm just watching the replay here, I'm pretty sure our audience can't see it. Tim Johnston got under him on the last restart and pushed Aaron Isla up the track. He got freight trained up on the high line, and because he lost all that track position anyway, he came back down pit road to get 4 tyres. But Aaron Isla's strategy certainly didn't work for him on that last restart, Richard.
No, and in fact, we were talking about him and saying how just prior to that, his strategy was really good. But then, of course, you've got to make it work for you. He is way back in 17th place at the moment, but once again, we have to say that this is lap 35 out of 100, so plenty of time left for him to get back up the front. Remember, Samuel, that Derek Cash won a race when at one point I can't remember whether it was Dover or the race previous to that, he was in dead last position.
Yeah, Dover got black flagged for changing lanes before the restart. There are officials in the ASRS who will show the black flag to people that warrant a penalty in their minds. Alright, Derek Cash, control of the field, gets a restart, pulls out a couple of car lengths from Ty Hester again. He is keen on restarts. Ty Hester looks down low. Gary Whitson tried to stick his nose under there, backed out of it. He's in 3rd place. Tim Johnson is going to have to try and filter into 4th place before Keith Medeiros makes a move on him. Keith says, oh, and there's a crash down the backstretch. Who's that? Hard in the inside wall. It's Aaron Cleanhands. It hasn't brought out a caution though, Richard, because he's off course.
And we will get a replay of that. Aaron Cleanhands, he is not showing as being on track at the moment. So he obviously has very quickly taken a tow. But surprisingly, no caution came out for that.
Aaron Cleanhands is out of the race. Meanwhile, Matt Howell is also stuck in pit road after his significant damage under the last caution. Meanwhile, Richard, I actually saw Derek Cash just make a mistake. He overshot turns 1 and 2. Let's not forget that Derek Cash has been out on those older tyres longer than anyone else. He's the only one who hasn't pit under the last 2 cautions. And Ty Hester is looking all over him for the lead.
Yeah, and if Ty Hester, obviously with fresher rubber under him, he is going to, now's the time for him really to make a move and try to get to the lead of this race. Meanwhile, behind them, slightly further back than we've seen before, 3rd and 4th place who are challenging each other We have Tim Johnson on the outside there. We have the 133 car of Keith Medeiros making a move on Whitson and making it stick. The Keith Medeiros 133 truck with the 711 paint scheme. He is now forced wide, and Tim Johnson gets that place back. So a little bit of he didn't secure his position after he had taken it, and he lost it once again. And Tim Johnson on the inside, right down low, making a move on the 13 truck now of Gary Whitson. Gary Whitson up high, trying to hold on to that position, but certainly Tim Johnson really attacking at this point in time, Samuel.
Yeah, and what happened there was about a year ago, Alan Greenhands, Keith Medeiros almost ran into the back of Gary Whitson, had to back out of it, and that's how Tim Johnson was able to get underneath him. Although Tim Johnson overshoots turns 3 and 4 a little bit, leaves the bottom line open to Keith Medeiros. As they battle like this, Richard, that's just letting the top 2 trucks run farther and farther away.
That's correct. Whilst there's 4 trucks in it at the moment. The truck of Bryce Whitson in the 0-0 in 6th place at the moment with a badly damaged right rear. He's hanging on to these 3 trucks in front of him who are battling. Tim Johnson is really trying to get that 4th place, or that 3rd place, I believe it is.
Yeah, meanwhile, the lap truck of Matt Howell will soon be coming up for them. Matt Howell with a lot of damage on the front of his truck, but he's going up to the high line and should be able to let these guys go by as they string out single file with Gary Whitson in 3rd, Tim Johnson in 4th, Keith Medeiros in 5th, Richard.
Correct, and we should put the cameras for a moment on the number 2 truck of Jim Foos, one of the organizers of the series. Jim has been running his own race, but now he finds himself in 7th place with perhaps an opportunity a little way off the trucks in front of him, and there are a whole bunch of them. And we see a truck out wide, they're probably a back marker. These guys going through from 4th place onwards, but Jim Foos will have an opportunity to do battle with these guys and perhaps improve his position.
I don't know what's happened to Jordan Harness, Richard. Maybe he's just got free trained on that high line. But he was battling for 1st and 2nd earlier, and now he is running all the way back in 9th position. Jordan Harness has really lost the edge on that truck for whatever reason. Meanwhile, Ty Hester has still been all over the back of Derek Cash since the restart, but has yet to make a move on him.
Yeah, I'm just looking at Jordan Harness right now. We did see Dave Biro make a move, and they're pretty close to each other. My goodness, that was a touch and go there. We could have had another accident, but certainly Harness has backed out of that battle, and his truck does appear to be
and
quite
around
loose.
goes David Biro. He doesn't completely go sideways, but it is enough to bring out a caution.
Yes, I was just going to say that he was pretty loose alongside of Jordan Harness there. He's made the mistake and got very, very loose, and now we brought out another caution. So not the best run for him just there.
And now this is great for Derek Cash because they just had a long green flag run. Derek should be coming in for 4 tyres given how long he's been out there on the circuit. And everyone else should come in with him, and even if not, it'll probably only be 1 or 2 trucks to stay out, and Cash should be able to dispose of them on the restart.
Yeah, and we're just seeing some great pictures there on replay of that incident, and watching out of the windscreen of the truck that was trying to pass Dave Biro right there, and some great pictures. But let us see, as you say, Samuel, that Derek Cash should come in. I'm pretty sure he will. He's looking like he is. I want to see what he's going to do here. No doubt he will take 4 tyres. If he doesn't, that would be a big mistake in my opinion.
Yeah, and if he gets beat off pit road, he will take 2 tyres. And once this round of pit stops is over, we will take a quick break as we approach a halfway point when they restart. And pretty much everyone on the lead lap down pit road Derek Cash right side. So we should see left sides go up. Already see trucks going off pit road who only took 2 tyres. Ty Hester, Tim Johnston, Jordan Harnish. Also, Derek Cash is going to be restarting 6th, Richard.
Tell you what, they're a little frantic trying to come out of that pit road. They're trying to get position, but like you said, we are going to take a short break. We will be back very, very soon as we approach the halfway mark of this race. Welcome back, folks, to the American Sim Racing Camping World Truck Series. The lights are off on the pace car, Samuel. We're driving with Ty Hester right now, who is... where is Ty Hester? I am not seeing him on my screen at the moment, but nonetheless, lights are out. Over to you, Samuel.
Yeah, Ty Hester will be restarting from the 1st position after taking 2 tyres, as did Tim Johnston, Jordan Harnish and Jim Foose. I said Derek Cash came out of pits in 6th. That's incorrect. He actually came out of pits in 5th, so he's going to have the desired inside line for this restart. But Ty Hester has a desired restart line and control over the field. He gets to decide when they go, and they go now. Tim Johnston gets a bit of a bad restart there. He may lose 2nd position to Jordan Harnish on the inside. Derek Cash, meanwhile, taking 4th position, or at least looking for 4th position underneath the league organizer Tim Foose, who is going to be free trained on the exit there on those 2 tyres.
Correct. And you know what? Starting on the outside on these short tracks is... Oh, we have another caution,
wreck.
Samuel.
Yeah, big wreck on the back stretch. I'm about to go back and see who's in it. It looks like Cody Gibson and Dave Biro, who have been running up there in the top 10 all day.
Yeah, and that is the 2nd caution that Dave Biro is involved in within a space of a few laps. So not a good run for him at this stage. Cody Gibson also one of the back markers at this point in time. Not good. We're on replay. We can see the action as we come back live now. I have to say, terrible stuff right after a restart.
Yeah, that actually started with Cody Gibson and David Gibson getting together. Now I actually want to check my stats here and see if they're related. And the best way I can tell that is see if they're from the same location. David Gibson is from the Mid-South Americas, and Cody Gibson is from Texas. So they could be. I don't know, Richard. They might actually be a bit of relatives having a bit of incident there, and unfortunately, the truck on the low side was just an innocent victim.
Yeah, look, they could be related. They may, one may just have moved away from the hometown We don't know at this stage, but they do have the same last name. As we see Dave Birrow in the pits taking some tires. Not all that significant for us. We are more interested in what is happening up near the front of the field. Ty Hester, 52 laps in, so we passed the halfway mark here, Samuel. Ty Hester looking good at this point in time. I am firmly going to be watching Derek Cash, who's way down at this point in fourth. Well, not way down. That's not the right thing to say. He is currently in fourth place, going around the track. But we shall see where he features, because I just like the looks of Derek Cash. He is so fast.
Yeah, the problem with where Derek Cash is going to be restarting, Richard, is that he was in 5th on the last restart and he got to start on the inside and take 4th place. Now he's going to be restarting 4th on the outside line, and we've seen that the outside line isn't desirable. He's got to get down on the inside line before turn 1, or else he may actually fall back on that high line.
Yeah, that's correct. A strange thing here, Samuel, he is actually showing I see what's happening. I've got the sorting order completely incorrect. Don't mind me, Samuel. Keep talking.
No, I don't mind you, Richard, but pace light should be coming off this lap as they come to complete lap 53, which means we'll restart at lap 54. Meanwhile, let's remember that there is a time limit on this race. I don't think we're going to hit it, but I would hope for a long green flag run or two just to be certain here, Richard.
Actually, you know, that is quite significant. The elapsed time showing on the clock is 41 minutes. So that's a little over half an hour that they have left in the race, and they have completed 54 laps, so they're a little past the halfway mark, but they will need some long green flag stints if they are going to make the time limit here, Samuel.
Yeah, but that elapsed time also includes the time that they were gridding up and doing the pace lap. So, but still, we are pushing at about 40 minutes right here, I think. So, hopefully they'll go green and it won't be something we'll have to worry about. But you can see Jordan Harnish on the high line there, getting his rear tyres warmed up. He really wants to get a good restart and challenge Ty Hester in turns 1 and 2, although honestly, Richard, I think his best option would be to attempt to find a hole in between Ty Hester and Tim Johnston. Ty gets a good restart, but so does Tim, and Jordan's not going to be able to get down low. Derek Cash is. If Derek can pass Jordan, he may move up into 3rd here, although Derek very slow into the turn, able to get on the gas earlier, though, coming out of the turn, Richard.
Oh, and we see somebody really making a big bubble there. Derek, that was, who was that? Derek Cash now into 3rd place. Derek Cash into 3rd place. And just behind him, Gary Whitson. These guys are striking hard as we see. Jordan Harnish once again get caught on the outside. It seems to happen a lot to Harnish. But at the moment, we've got 4 or 5 trucks battling the 133 car of Medeiros, challenging Gary Whitson, taking the position from him. Gary Whitson forced wide. Now they're all in line, but a really good restart there and a fierce battle for the front positions there, Samuel.
Yeah, what happened is Ty Hester had a bad exit and he fell all the way to 7th, and then everyone, meaning Jordan Harnish and Tim Johnston, wanted to take advantage and get the lead, so they're able to put a bit of gap on Derek Cash. Meanwhile, the leader is Tim Johnston, and that means that if Jordan Harnish begins to hold Derek up, that Tim may be able to run away with the lead, but it's not what's happening, Richard. Jordan is actually running Tim down. I have a feeling we may be seeing another lead change within the next couple of laps.
Yeah, we'll certainly keep an eye on that, bearing in mind Derek Cash is in 3rd position at this point in time. Ty Hester now making a move on the number 2 car of Jim Foos. He's the driver that made that mistake, and that cost him quite a number of positions. But he's trying to push his way back again. He's now up to 6th place. He's got a little way to go to catch up with the lead 5 cars, but he's looking fast, and I would imagine that he will be challenging for that 5th place in a few laps' time, Samuel.
Yeah, 24 cars still on the lead laps. It certainly is an exciting race, and Derek Cash trying to look down the inside of Jordan Harnish, who slips up in turns 1 and 2, and that's all she wrote. Derek Cash should be able to take second position here. But yeah, Richard, 24 trucks still on the lead lap. Matt Howell 1 lap down, Aaron Cleanhands out of the race.
Correct, and Gary Whitson, by the way, just moved up a position, took that position from Keith Medeiros. Medeiros forced high, so Gary Whitson having a really good race. Keith Medeiros, who we have not spoken about, seen before, this particular race having a terrific race. Derek Cash now up to second place, Samuel, looking to Tim Johnson, who is leading this race.
Yeah, Tim Johnson's fastest lap has been a 31.3. Derek Cash has been a 31.1, so his personal best is faster. And I was going to look at lap times to see what they were running the previous lap, but I don't really have to do that. It's pretty obvious who's faster right now. Tim Johnson a little bit free on exit. Derek Cash using that slipstream, poking his nose down the inside, and Tim actually slides up. It's going to be over before it even began.
Yep, there Derek Cash takes the first position. A move on Tim Johnston, who just cruises around now. He is in the clutches of Jordan Harnish. Now, Samuel, I've got a bit of a theory about Jordan Harnish. Jordan has not won a race. He is capable of winning races, I believe. He is very fast, but he is very conservative. And he's leading this championship, remember. And I think his strategy is safety at all costs. And that is why he is leading this championship. He doesn't necessarily have to win a race to do that. So I am very respectful of Jordan Harnish. His strategy is a long-term strategy about the championship, not necessarily about races.
I wouldn't necessarily say he's not aggressive, Richard, because I've seen him pull some aggressive moves and run hard on the outside line earlier in this race, in fact. But I would say he is very spatially aware. He is knows the limits of that truck, and he is willing to push it all the way to the limit of that truck. But I'll tell you what, it's very rare you see him push it over that limit. So I wouldn't say he's not necessarily aggressive, Richard. I have a feeling that he will challenge for a win if the opportunity comes, and it very well may if we have a late caution. We've seen Derek make a few mistakes on pit strategy today. But I have a feeling really what Jordan's strong point is that he knows when to give in and when to fight. And sometimes he does fight.
Correct. And what a great summation from you there. I think you're spot on about Jordan Harnish. Meanwhile, just behind him, Ty Hester has got up and passed Keith Medeiros. And Keith Medeiros actually came back at him on the previous lap, tapped him in the rear, no damage caused to the truck, but that did cause Keith Medeiros in the 133 car to fall back a little bit. Ty Hester is a man on the move right now, Samuel.
He is up in the top 5 there. We've seen him play different strategy today. And he restarted though at the front, I believe, not too long ago, so he has fallen back a bit, but still hanging out there in the top 5, which is certainly respectable if you're fighting for a position in the chase. But there's quite a few names back here, Richard, we haven't mentioned. Alan Young is currently running in 7th, and we got a battle here between Jim Foose and Aaron Isla for 8th. Both of those drivers started outside the top 10.
Yeah, and I'm getting information from our director that Jordan Harnish is actually in the interview room. I don't think we'll talk to him right now because he is battling very hard in that 3rd position. 4th place is Gary Whitson. Gary Whitson, perhaps we underrate a little bit. This guy is so fast and always up near the front of the field as well, Samuel. And currently running in 4th place, showing on my screen. And Ty Hester in 5th place. Ty Hester, to me, is looking like he wants to get back up front. He is wringing every bit of horsepower out of that truck that he can, Samuel.
Yeah, but he's only got a third of the race left to do it in a run that's actually got a bit of a green flag look to it right now. And the field is spread out, so I don't see any position changes occurring in the top 5 anytime soon. But I can't remember when the last caution was, Richard. I'm wondering if they still have to make one more stop for fuel by the end of this race. It could become a fuel mileage race by the end, but we'll speculate on that later if that is the case. But yeah, actually it's kind of quiet back right up at the front right now.
Yeah, the restart was on lap 53 or 54, I believe. So that means they've done 14 laps. As we see, Ty Hester really pushing hard.
Aaron Eastland, Bryce Whitson, who comes back out on track and hits Dan Winter. They're still wrecking Dan Winter. Oh, and the Dave Vero just slams into Bryce Whitson. You'd have a feeling these guys will be on the brakes when they see trucks stopped in front of them. A couple of cars that shouldn't have got wrecked there, Richard, ended up getting caught up. But started with a collision between Bryce Whitson and Aaron Eastland.
Yeah, we just saw that on replay. Pretty nasty accident, that one. Very hard slam into the inner wall there. So these trucks will have significant damage. Isn't it freaky? We just talked about the long green flag run, which was all of about 14 laps. And now we have a restart. However, this may be what is required. Certainly, if they all stop for fuel right now, Samuel, they should have enough to get to the end of the race. Bearing in mind that they run 50% fuel, they probably won't need a full 50% fuel to get them to the end of this race. Tires with 30 laps to go is still a problem for these guys. So they certainly will be jumping into the pits to take tires, as we see all of the top runners going into the pits right now. Who will take 2? Who will take 4? That is the question, Samuel.
I would take 4, but I guarantee you somebody won't. Can't really put names on it, because the driver who I would assume would be Ty Hester, but I think he did 2 tires on his last stop, and it didn't really work out that well for him. But yeah, each truck should be able to make it to the end now, and it's Gary Whitson who's the first truck out pit road with 2 tires. It looks like everybody else has taken 4.
Correct. Ty Hester certainly took 4. He is coming out in about 5th position. Tim Johnson jumped him there. Tim Johnson probably only took 2, but the rest of them all took 4 tires. So now you have what you have, unless there is another caution before the end of the race. But certainly everybody has got fresh rubber. 4 new Dr. Feelgoods, as you guys say in the US there. And also enough fuel to get to the end of this race. So very, very interesting if it goes green all the way.
Yeah, I don't understand what's going on with Josh Perry. He has stayed out. I wonder if he just wanted to lead a lap for a bonus point. And it seems like our director has never heard the term Dr. Feelgoods before. But I have a feeling Josh Perry may be coming down pit road this lap, Richard. He just wanted to lead a lap for a bonus point. Now he'll come in because he can't make it to the end on fuel, and he's been a mid-pack truck all race. If he restarts in the top position, he's just going to get run over.
I have to laugh. We have some internal chat going on, and quite obviously our director, Kevin Brown, needs to do a little bit more oval racing, or watch some oval racing. The Dr. Feelgood phrase is almost overused in oval racing. So get with the program, Kevin, is all I can say to you. Meanwhile, back to the racing, Samuel. Caution time. Yes, I believe Josh Perry will kind of get into the pits when he chooses to do so, and leave the racing to the other guys. But effectively, that's going to leave Gary Whitson in charge of this restart.
Yeah, and unfortunately for Josh Perry, because, I mean, it hasn't necessarily been a clean race as far as green flag racing, but has been a clean race in that when we've seen cautions, they haven't necessarily been catastrophic events. We still have about, I'm trying to count here, about 20 cars still on the lead lap. So if you make a mistake on the final lap, if someone were to spin Derek Cash out from the lead on the final lap, he could fall all the way back down the 20th. There's still lots of trucks in contention for this, and this is not a race where you want a hand back and make a move at the end. You've really got a race to earn your way up to the front. and with only 27 laps left to go as the pace car's about to pull in, that's what these guys are going to have to do. Now, Derek Cash on the outside of Gary Whitson, who has 2 tyres. Derek is going to have to look for a hole as soon as possible, and one's open for him already because Jordan Harnish got a bad restart. So Derek Cash will take 2nd position, and they're side by side in a battle for 6th back there, Richard.
Yeah, I don't particularly think that Jordan Harnish had a bad restart. In fact, it was a great restart from Derek Cash. He found the hole pretty easily and got himself onto the low line. He is now looking at Gary Whitson to see if he can grab the 1st position. Jordan Harnish in 3rd place, sitting behind these two and looking for his opportunity. Tim Johnson in there.
Big accident
Yellow flag.
as Derek Cash was about to take a lead. Alan Young in the wall. Other trucks involved. It may have not been Alan Young, but certainly about 10 trucks look like they have damage coming out of that, Richard.
Dear, oh dear. Pretty nasty stuff there. Over exuberance is all I can say on a restart.
Alan Young got loose, and I think Steve Buhala trekked up to avoid it. And correction, it wasn't a 10 truck pile up. All the trucks back there have damage, so I thought they all got damage from the wreck. It looks like it was a single truck incident for Steve Buhala. But really what the key was there, Richard, is that Derek Cash was about to take a lead. The caution through right before he did, so Gary Whitson is still the leader of this race.
Yeah, that's correct. The moment that the caution comes out, whoever is in the lead, even if he would lose that lead momentarily, he will maintain that position until the next restart. Just looking at Steve Buhala's truck, he's got some damage in the rear. Not that significant. Interesting thing that you mentioned, Samuel, previously, was that we had all of about 20 trucks on the lead. With this caution, they'll all come back up again.
Gary Whitson down pit road, and no one's coming with him. He's going to fall down to about 20th.
Yeah, there are a few trucks going in, but they're all kind of from the rear of the field. The top runners, Derek Cash, Jordan Harnish, Tim Johnson, they all have stayed out. So, as we see, that's Steve Buhala just having to reverse into his pit stall, not really contending for the lead. So let's go back to the lead. Derek Cash now inherits the lead of the race, being the fact being that Gary Whitson went into the pits. So this is his favorite position, and with 23 laps to go, and we're looking at something like 20 minutes to go. 23 laps, they're going to make it easily on time by the looks of things if they go green. This is looking like another Derek Cash scenario where he could possibly run away and win, but we will not attempt to make that prediction at this point in time.
Well, how do you beat Derek Cash? I mean, he has control of the field on the restarts, and he's very good at getting a jump. If you're on 2nd on the restarts, you really can't hand with him on the outside. If you try to, like we saw Jordan Harnish do earlier, you're gonna lose it on the exit of the corner. So, is 3rd the catbird seat? Do you have to be in 3rd, like Tim Johnson is right now, and get a really, really good restart? Or do you go for about 10 more laps, hope for a caution, hope that Derek Cash pits under the caution, and then you'll stay out and Derek's at the back of the field? But even then, that's improbable, because if a caution came out in about 10 laps, you would only have a 5-lap shootout to the end, so if you're Derek Cash, you might as well stay out. This is what's going through all these drivers' minds right now. How do we beat Derek Cash? And honestly, Richard, there's no easy answer to it.
Yeah, and that is what you just said there is part of the fascination that we spoke about earlier about oval racing. Now, I tell you who is the two guys that are in an unenviable position right now are, in fact, Jordan Harnish and Ty Hester. Tim Johnson, we've seen he has a great turn of speed. Derek Cash, the absolute master of restarts, Keith Madeira's looking good there, even though he is in the 5th place. But the inside line is very much the desired line around here, Samuel. So we'll be getting a restart momentarily, and we'll find out what these guys are going to do, regardless of our guessing.
Yeah, I have a feeling we'll be calling Gary Whitson's name before the end. He's the only one on fresh tyres, and he's going to be restarting 17th, so he'll be making some aggressive moves. All right, look at Jordan Harnett. He's trying to get a jump on the Derek Cash. Actually hurts him. Derek Cash takes it by surprise. Still, Jordan Harnett able to get down to the low line and take second, which is second best right now. And Tim Johnson third, so the top three the same as when they restarted, although Tim Johnson slides up the track, and Keith Medeiros is going to try and look for a podium position for the first time today, Richard.
Yeah, I tell you what, Tim Johnson did not get the best restart. He's now being freight trained a little bit. Ty Hester did not get a great restart, but he's recovered. Keith Medeiros, the big winner out of all of that, he is currently on the podium. Derek Cash, as usual, got a great restart, but Jordan Hines did go with him, as we see Ty Hester now making a move on Medeiros in the 133 truck and getting away with it. He does get into the 3rd place position, and he's made up a heck of a lot of pace and time on the 2 leaders right now.
And there's a spin, it is Alan Young over in turns 3 and 4. And while we get replays of that, I just want to say Gary Whitson, who restarted 17th, he's made it up to 10th position already.
Yeah, and Alan Young brought out that caution. He is still going around. His truck is almost bent in half on the left side. So he will be pitting, no doubt. Which is a great pity. That was going to be one heck of a battle up the front there, Samuel.
It was, but we're going to take a break as we get set for the final 20 laps. Ty Hester thinking about coming in the pits and actually does not. So it looks like everyone's going to stay out. We'll be back in just a minute here.
Welcome back, folks, to the American Sim Racing Camping World Truck Series here at the Milwaukee Mile. Samuel, we have seen a good race. Too many cautions for my liking, but nonetheless a good race. The lights are out on the pace car. We will get a start momentarily, but maybe we will just leave our chat. I want to mention our third place in the championship, Alex Bates, currently sitting back in 11th place. I am looking for this gentleman to improve his position so that he can maintain his championship standing at least, but we will be getting a start very, very soon. So over to you, Samuel.
Yeah, unfortunately he's going to be in the Hornets back there, especially with Gary Whitson on the outside of him restarting in 10th place on new tyres. Let's see what kind of restart Jordan Harnish can get. Pace car is off. Alright, now Derek's on the gas, and Jordan is on the gas quickly, but still not quick enough to beat Derek, although he is able to get down in the inside into second. Overshoots turn 1 though, and that opens the door for Ty Hester. And Anna's one car skidding up, doesn't hit the wall up in the high line. That is Jonathan Cadell. They're 4 wide back there, and now 3 trucks go spinning, 4 trucks, 5 trucks. Bryce Whitson, John Martin, Nick Cohan, Josh Perry, Steve Bahala, big wreck on the backstretch. And Derek Cash is out of the race. Where's Derek gone?
Derek Cash was, at the time of the caution, he was still leading. I'm not sure what happened to him subsequent to that, but it looks like he has disconnected. This could be an internet problem that has hit Derek Cash here, folks. Our race leader is going down the order. Well, what a turnaround. This is not good for Derek. Let's hope he can reconnect during the course of this caution, but he has disconnected from the race at this point in time. Samuel.
Yeah, I really don't know. Dave Biro also out of a race, but yeah, well, what a turnaround of events, because we just lost about 5 pretty decent trucks in a huge pile up on the backstretch there. But meanwhile, an even bigger story takes place up front, and because Ty Hester was able to get Jordan Harnish on the restart, Jordan Harnish will once again have to restart from the outside line. But yeah, really big shame about Derek Cash. It looked for certain he was going to go 3 for 3.
And you know what, we're looking at the replay. That was a huge wreck towards the rear of the field there. And certainly not what we wanted to see. We are now once again under caution. Derek Cash disconnected. We have Dave Biro as well disconnected, possibly due to that accident. So an ugly end at the moment to this race. It's not over yet. Ty Hester now in charge. Jordan Harnish behind him. It's going to be interesting to see how these guys will fight for the balance of this race. When they do come back, it's only going to be about 10 laps to go. We can now talk about Alex Bates again. He has moved up to 9th position. Things working a little bit in his favor. The big winner out of this might well end up being Gary Whitson, whose truck looks completely whole at the moment, certainly from the rear. Keith Medeiros in 4th place has had a great race in the 133 car and he's done a great job. Tim Johnston has every opportunity now, Samuel, to win this thing. Jordan Harnish as well as Ty Hester. So any one of the top 5 trucks could really win this thing from here.
I have a feeling Ty Hester is going to win just because as John Martin is also now out of the race. I have a feeling Ty Hester is going to win just because he's going to get a good restart here. And we are going to go on time crunch, I think, here. Only about 6 minutes left. When they restart, I don't think we're going to get to lap 100. But yeah, give a shout out to Gary Whitson, who took a new tyres, has somehow been able to avoid every wreck. He's going to be restarting in 5th position on new tyres. And really, we had all 26 trucks on the lead lap not too long ago. And now, good grief, it doesn't look like there's half that left.
Well, they got about 8 minutes and 10 laps or so to go. So this is going to be frantic. And you know what? I hate to say it, Samuel, but I would not be surprised if they have another caution before the end of this race. We've seen a couple of races in under caution. Let us hope this does not happen. I'll be sitting with Gary Whitson to see what happens from his point of view. but the guys in front of him are not going to give up positions very, very easily. They've shown that they are perhaps a little faster. He has got the tires under him, so it is going to be very exciting going to the end of this race. Let us hope we don't have another caution.
I'm not even going to bother hoping for that, because I have a feeling we will. These drivers are all trying to warm up their tyres. Here we go for the final time, maybe. Pace cars off, away they go. Ty Hester gets a good restart. Jordan Harnish, he now needs to filter in behind him. Look at Gary Whitson, he's already trying to poke up for third place. Now, Jordan Harnish on the brakes early. He's going to try and get a run on Ty Hester coming off of turn 2. Ty Hester's overshot the turn a little bit. He drifts up. No, he hasn't. He actually pulls away from Jordan Harnish. He's still around 1-2, just that way down the back stretch, Richard.
Yes, and a fierce battle there with the 38 car of Tim Johnson. Tim Johnson got caught out high, and Gary Whitson has taken that position. He is now on the podium as we speak, and we have another caution, is that?
Nick Cohan and Jonathan Cadell. Cadell is out of the race for good. And I don't know if this caution may very well end the race, Richard. But yeah, Gary Whitson all the way up to third now. He's going to be in the catbird seat if they get another restart right behind Ty Hester and on those fresher tyres.
Well, you know, the most important thing in that restart was to make up positions, or if you were in front as Ty Hester was, to stay in front, because if another caution came out, you would want to hang on to whatever position you got. Gary Whitson is on the podium. This may well be the end of the race, because we do have a very interesting situation. We have got possibly 7 minutes to go in this race on time. We are under caution on lap number 93, so there is going to be at least 3 more laps to go around under caution, Samuel. So we could have a shootout, or we could run out of time. Either could happen.
Could be a one-lap shootout. That would be very interesting, considering a one-lap shootout, the caution would not end the race. They would have to run to the checkered flag. Now, let's not forget, Richard, that we've seen penalties handed out post-race before. I'm beginning to wonder if there'll be some here, just the way we've seen this action picking up in the final couple of laps. Pace lights are still on. I have a feeling they're going to go back under green, and I have a feeling we're going to see a shootout between Ty Hester and Gary Whitson, and the only way Jordan Harnish is going to win it is if those two get together. But meanwhile, I want to mention the real lose on that restart was Alex Bates, sitting third in the points, as you were saying. He restarted 9th and fell to 15th after getting caught up in the high line.
Yeah, that's... Look, I think you're right, Samuel. I do believe now, with about 1 minute 12 showing as elapsed, take 2 minutes off that, so 1 minute 10. So we have 5 minutes left in the race. There's certainly enough time to get some laps in. I think that we possibly are going to end under green here unless there's another caution. You want to now be hanging on to that position as hard as you can. People on the inside line obviously have a slightly better opportunity of doing that. Do not be surprised if Gary Whitson fights as hard as he can for a second place, bearing in mind he will be behind the leader Ty Hester, who will have an inside line. The Jordan Harnish is the guy who has got the most to lose here, Samuel, being on the outside line for the restart.
Yeah, but Jordan Harnish has pretty much restarted second every single restart, unfortunately for him, and when finally Derek Cash had gone, he'd fallen to third, and that meant he had to restart second again. Let's be honest, Richard, we're not quite sure when this race is going to end, because there's going to be... If this goes to an elapsed time of 1 minute 15, it might just very well be a one-lap shootout. I'm not sure. We're just going to have to keep the camera on the leaders and wait to see when the white flag gets thrown. But I have a feeling we will see the race go green, because I have a feeling the pace lights will be going off this lap.
Yes, they will. And I'm pretty sure the drivers won't be worrying about any of that. All they'll be watching is the pace car and the green flag flying once again. We certainly are going to get a restart here. There's no doubt about that, Samuel. This is probably going to be one of the most exciting restarts we have ever called. Even if there is an accident now which will end the race, you want to make sure that you are hanging on to the position that you have now, or if you can possibly improve, you want to improve. If I am Jordan Heine, Samuel, what do? You're going to have to try and get the best restart you can and cut in front of the leader to try and get that first position in case another caution comes out. If you are Ty Hester, you are going to be watching the lights. You are in control. It's very difficult for somebody to take that away from you. Over to you, Samuel.
The pace car's about to come off. I have a feeling Jordan's going to run Ty as hard as he can, just in case a caution comes out in the first turn. He might have a lead. He doesn't want to jump a restart though, but he gets a very good restart this time. They're side by side going into the first turn. Ty Hester in the lead. There's contact behind them, but it doesn't bring out a caution. Keith Medeiros is just going to get shuffled back. Jordan Harness almost gets turned by Gary Whitson, able to hold on to it. Ty Hester pulls away. He's most likely going to win a race now, and they're wrecking on the backstretch. But there's no caution, and now there is. Upside down goes Aaron Isla, and Ty Hester is going to win this race.
And there is a touch between any number of cars up near the front, and I want to tell you that restart was absolutely frantic. We had Gary Whitson on Keith Medeiros. Keith Medeiros, the big loser out of all of that, by the way. He got shuffled back all the way to a 5th place. He came back, fought back magnificently, I thought, to get back into that 5th place, but this is the way it is going to end. Ty Hester hung on. He bobbled. He fought hard to keep Jordan Harnish off from taking the lead from him. He did manage to do that. I tell you what, that was pretty damn exciting, if I may say so.
Yeah, Jordan Harnish, it's been the first time he's got a good restart, in my opinion, all race long. And it was just too little too late. He tried to get low, got tagged by the truck behind him. Gary Whitson, meanwhile, going to come home with a 3rd place finish. Whether this race goes timed or whether it goes to the end of laps, the order's going to stay the same as it is now. Although, granted, we see trucks like Steve Buhala running in 11th position. His truck just blew up, so he will not finish 11th. He'll drop to the apron here and lose all those positions behind him, won't be able to make it to the line. Another truck smoking behind him is Dan Winter. If Dan Winter's engine goes before he crosses the line, he may not be able to finish in 15th position he'll be in. So it could still all change despite the fact that we're under caution.
Yeah, that is correct. And, you know, I have to say it, you know, this is what excites me about oval racing. That you never know what is going to happen until, in fact, the checkered flag comes out. And we are now on the lap 99. It's going to finish under caution, there's no doubt. They've already run out of time on the clock, even though a few extra minutes are allocated because of the pace lap. So the true time, we don't quite know exactly what that is. But they will finish. They are on lap 100 now behind the pace car. The winner will be Ty Hester. On track, Jordan Harnish will come second in this race. But Samuel, you know, I say it all the time. This is the exciting part of oval racing. You never know what's going to happen.
Yeah, well, I mean, Ty Hester had to get a good restart, and he didn't, and that's what excited me. Gary Whitson and the trucks behind him, though, never took a look down the inside. The white flag is in the air, and Ty Hester played strategy all day. He was the fastest in practice. He qualified 3rd, so he got to start right behind Derek Cash. And for the first time during GSRC history, we're going to see someone other than Derek Cash win an ASRS race. We're going to have to find out what happened from Derek one day. But Ty Hester is going to win, and Jordan Harnish in second. Certainly not going to hurt him in the points lead. Congratulations, Ty Hester, on his win here today at Milwaukee.
Yeah, well, look, let me just make a little comment on that restart. I thought, and I could be totally wrong, but I thought that Ty Hester going to the start-finish line actually held back a fraction, knowing that on the outside of him, Jordan Harnish was pushing hard. Jordan Harnish got a great restart, and I believe would have gone to the front of that race if it wasn't for the fact that Ty Hester just lifted a fraction, in my opinion. And that caused Jordan Heinrich to have to lift as well. Otherwise, he would have got black flagged for jumping the start. And that's what won the race for Ty Hester. Now, I could be totally wrong, but that's my opinion anyway.
Well, hopefully we'll get to ask them all in the pace laps. I was expecting Ty Hester to come over on the front stretch and I said pace laps, I meant post-race. I was expecting Ty Hester to come on the front stretch and start lighting them up, but he's kind of just enjoying being out on the track right now. Maybe he feels he didn't get enough green flag runs in. Meanwhile, there's a bit of an argument going in on what happened during that last caution between Aaron Isla, Keith Medeiros. I'm sure there are some very unhappy drivers, Richard, because you know, some drivers certainly had good top 10 trucks perhaps today. They ended up getting wrecked at the end there. But Ty Hester now doing some donuts on the front stretch at Milwaukee for us. He has nothing to complain about. Good job on him today.
Yeah, and look, I see the chat going on there. There was contact certainly between Keith Medeiros and possibly Gary Whitson or Johnson. I can't remember which. I'll have to look at the replay. But there was some contact. There was also a whole bunch of contact right at the back of the field. So there will be some unhappy people there. But we will come back after a break, and we will bring you the full standings as we saw it in this race. Some driver interviews as well, and we'll wrap up the race for you. So don't go away. We'll be back soon. Welcome back, folks, to round number 6 here of the American Sim Racing Camping World Truck Series. We are at the Milwaukee Mile, where we just witnessed a fantastic race, in my opinion. Yes, there were lots of cautions in the race, and yes, there were some ugly incidents, but you can't take away from a very exciting finish. First of all, Samuel, let us go through the standings as they finish the race.
Yeah, well, first we had Ty Hester taking a win after leading 28 laps. Points leader Jordan Harnish finished second, with Gary Whitson on the new tyres in third. Keith Medeiros was able to impress with a fourth place finish. Scott Johnston, didn't mention him a whole lot, I don't think. He got fifth. Oh, sorry about that. Jim Foose came through to a sixth place finish. Mark Myers seventh. Alan Young eighth. Jason Christen ninth. And Cody Gibson rounds out the top 10, Richard.
Yes, and in fact, in 5th place, it was Tim Johnston, not Scott Johnston. But in 11th place, we had Carson Aube. We had Michael Koenig, his best place finish in these races, in 12th place. Bryce Whitson managed a 13th place. Dan Winter finished in 14th. Alex Bates, third in the championship, only got a 15th place, so that will probably hurt him a little bit. Josh Perry in 16th, and last on the lead lap was Nick Cohen, and that will certainly hurt his championship standings. Then we go to the lapped cars. Steve Bahala in 18th. 19th was Aaron Easler, another gentleman who is going to be hurt by this race. And in 20th place, Samuel, 4 laps down, David Gibson.
Yes, and then rounding out the back, all these drivers who were who did not make it to the finish. Jonathan Cadell in 21st, John Martin 22nd, Derek Cash 23rd, still don't know why he retired. Dave Biro the 3rd and 24th, Matt Howe in 25th, Aaron Kleinhans 26th, and Jamie Moore and Jake Morris were 27th and 28th. They did not start.
Yes, Aaron Kleinhans, a pity we didn't see him up closer near the front. He is, of course, the sponsor of this race. If we can get the director to put up his little graphic. Yes, there it is. Race sponsored by Aaron Kleinhans. Please go to that link that you see on screen and have a look. Aaron Kleinhans, thank you for your involvement and your sponsorship. Well, now we do have some interviews. And first up, we are going to talk to Jordan Harnish. So we'll bring Jordan into the booth, and we'll have a chat with Jordan about his race. Jordan Harnish, can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you.
Jordan, I don't know what you thought about this race, but certainly from where we were watching in the booth, even though there were lots of cautions, to me it was a very exciting race. That last restart, I particularly want to talk to you about that. You were on the outside on the row number 1, starting off there. You looked like you got a fantastic restart. You could not jump the start there because of the leader, in my opinion, holding back a little bit. Is that how you saw it?
Yeah, the leader sets the pace, and I suck at restarts as it is, so I was trying to get a little bit of a jump on him as I could, and he waited for the green to come out, which is longer than he usually waits. And once he did that, I had to back off a little bit coming to the line.
Yeah, that's how it looked to me. And so that possibly hurt your chances of taking the win in this race. We kind of knew it would end under caution once again, or even run out of time. I don't know if you guys were watching the clock in any way, shape, or form. But certainly the clock had run down, and the 1 hour and 15 minutes was completely over by the time you guys took the last restart.
Yeah, I took a look at it with 10 to go and realized we were going to be really close. And so that's part of the reason why I tried to jump the start a little bit to get as close as I could to Hester. If the caution came out in turn 1, I wanted to be in front of him. But I'll take a second after tonight. It was a good race. Got bumped around a few times, but Rubbin's racing.
Well, certainly this is not going to hurt your championship chances. A great finish in second place there, no doubt about that. and you know, I just thought a fantastic race from yourself and from some of the guys around you. Um, with the next race coming up next week, what are you looking for there, Jordan?
Just looking to keep the total performance racing. I race for a cause, Chevy, back running towards the front. I hope Derek comes back. It was disappointing to see him drop out. I don't know what happened there. He's all of a sudden left. But just hope to keep it up front. Hopefully top 5 and have a good another run.
All right. Well, thank you for talking to us. I feel that you have, in all the races that certainly that we've broadcast, you have had some great finishes there, and thank you for making for a very, very exciting race. Now, Samuel, we have got the, well, we were going to talk to Ty Hester, but at this point we actually have Jim Foos in the booth with us. So we'll have a few words with Jim Foos. Go ahead.
Yes, Jim Fuchs, one of the league organisers. You were able to place a 6th place finish today. How did your race go?
Real good with the Menard Chevy tonight. Real happy we're in Menard's hometown here, home state, and just happy to finally get a top 15 finish for ourselves. We had a best finish this season in the trucks, a 17th, and it's been rough. We've torn up trucks at every single race this year, and to bring home a solid piece tonight, we're really happy.
Yeah, it seemed to be a bit of an ugly race out there in the closing stages. How was it from the driver's seat?
You know, it wasn't too bad. You know, we saw a little bit of action, and it got a little hairy there on one of the restarts. A couple of the guys were trying to jump down to the bottom line before they were really clear, and it caused some trouble. But you know, that's racing at a flat track like Milwaukee, and that's truck racing at its best. So you kind of expect it when you get to a place like this.
Yeah, well, you got a decent finish today. Are you going to try and work your way up to the chase in these next 10 or so races?
Oh yeah, I'm the only one that's made it every year, and you know, we want to do it for Menards and Driven Designs, our sponsors. So we want to put the Chevy in the chase for sure, and I think that tonight was a step in the right direction for us.
All right, well, good luck with that, and hopefully we'll see you score your 100th career sim race win soon. You're at 99 last time I checked.
Thanks. Yeah, 98 here in ASRS and 99 overall. So 100's lingering, and we want to get it this year. So we're hoping to get it.
All right. Well, we'll look forward to it. Anyhow, Richard, I'm going to hand it back to you to interview our race winner today, Ty Hester.
Well, we both have some questions for Ty, so I don't mind if you jump in with a question. But first up, Ty Hester, congratulations on a win in a race that was really, really tough. Tell us about that last restart. No time left on the clock, very few laps left in the race itself. What were you thinking on that restart?
Oh, and thank you for the congrats. I knew I just had to get going off the corner. I know you saw that restart. I know the restart earlier on in the race when I took off out of 2 and it just broke loose. I went back to 7th. So overall, I knew I needed to get back to the front. I do really well here in any car. To really be honest, I've won a race in the late model. I've won a race in the national car, and I've won a truck race, and so I do really good here. So I knew I had to get back to the front, but like Jordan said, that restart when right before or after the caution, when the 22 jumped out, that was too bad. But overall, it was a good race. Yes, too many cautions, I thought, but definitely the battle in the top 4, 5, 6 was awesome.
Yeah, we certainly thought so too. And you were looking really, really good throughout the race. And we kind of had our eyes on you in those last few laps. And congratulations on coming away with the win there. It was a tough fight. Samuel, you have a question?
Not really, but I will ask Ty, what's his name? Had Derek Cash not retired from the race, do you think you would have had anything for him? Because I saw you changing up your strategy a bit to try and get in front of him.
Well, I knew I had to jump, more or less jump him when he took off. And if you've noticed that the pace car waited so long to get off the track, and the green flag came out really quick. As far as some tracks, it waits 20 minutes. Not really, but it waits a while to come out. So I knew I had a small window. I had to jump him to keep Jordan on the outside. Because I think at one point, I honestly think I was faster than the 22. They're in the middle of the race, so I knew I could stay, just earlier on in the race. I was about on his bumper, and I about helped him get through the corner a couple times, but I just knew I had to keep the 51 on the outside, and then I could have, and then tried to work on the 22. But I would have finished second to Derek if he didn't jump out. But, like I said, you get a little lucky, I guess, sometimes.
All right, well, Ty, yeah, I'm just thinking about some of the things you said there. Certainly, I believe that in oval racing, luck does play a part. Ability plays a large part, but there's always an element of luck involved. So, once again, congratulations on your win. This is certainly not going to hurt your championship chances or your opportunities to get into the chase. Thank you for talking to us.
Not a problem. Thank you, guys.
Okay, now, folks, we come to that part of the race where, unfortunately, we have to say goodbye. Just before we do, I just want to get some thoughts from Samuel. I think you've all heard my thoughts. Samuel, what were yours?
Yeah, I thought it was a race with a lot of potential. There was a lot of clean racing. Unfortunately, the problem with races that are not necessarily short like this, but they're certainly not endurance races, is that there's some trucks at the back of a field that may not have the truck under them that are able to keep going to the end, and unfortunately that ends up with more cautions than we would have liked. But we're still able to get all 100 laps in today, and the good guy won the race, and just unfortunate what happened to Derek.
All right, and we will find out what happened there. However, time to wrap things up. Thank you very much to Jim Foos and Mark Myers, the organizers of this league. Thank you, guys. We also like to thank the makers of various software and hardware that help make this stream possible. So it's iRacing.com, XSplit, Audio Technica, Ava Media, Behringer as well, and occasionally we do broadcast as well to Twitch TV. Thank you to the team today. Kevin, great job on the directing, and Samuel, thank you for your insights. If you want to find out more about us, GSRC, you will find us at our website, globalsimracingchannel.com. Go there and you will see archived races and race highlights as well. We are also on Twitter at GSR Channel and on Facebook at Global Sim Racing Channel. A big thanks to Doug Beard for creating the camera sets that we use during this stream and others. A special thank you to our music provider, Eric Ekholm. You can find a lot of his music listening to us here on GSRC, but also in some TV commercials, movie trailers, iTunes, and Spotify. If you do like what you hear, let Eric know where you heard it at. Eric Ekholm is his, I believe, his Twitter handle. Well, folks, the next race in the series is at Richmond. It's the Virginia is for Lovers 100 on June 11. On this coming weekend, you will find a bunch of races broadcast by GSRC. Friday the 6th of June, Super Speedway for oval race lovers. Race number 11 at Daytona, a night race going down there. On Saturday the 7th, we do have the Enduro Pro Series, a road race, round number 10 at Barber Motorsports Park. On Sunday the 8th of June, we have the Northwest Majors round 6 at Montreal in Canada, another road race. In other series coming up, we have the Continental Endurance Sports Car Series round number 5 at Kansas Road on the 14th of June. And on Sunday, the 15th of June, we have the Virtual Sim Racing Association round number 5 at Road America. So plenty of viewing coming up from GSRC in the near future. Until next time, race hard, race clean, and we'll see you on track.